For years now, the common rumor with Excalibur at Valleyfair is that this roller coaster will be the next one to get removed at this park. I mean, sure, it makes sense because this roller coaster is old, quite unpopular, and the company who made it went bankrupt years ago, so yeah, it makes sense as to why Valleyfair would remove Excalibur. But recently, that has kind of changed because this past season, Valleyfair invested quite a bit of money into Excalibur. They got this roller coaster a brand new control system, which those aren't cheap. So I think Valleyfair is going to keep Excalibur around for a bit longer. So let's just say Excalibur is safe for now. What other roller coaster do I think could possibly get removed in the near future? Well, hear me out on this one. I think it's going to be Steel Venom. Good afternoon, enthusiasts, and yep, you heard me right. I think the next roller coaster to get removed at Valleyfair is going to be Steel Venom, the Intimate Impulse coaster built in 2003. Now, before you judge me in the comment section, just hear me out on this one. Cause believe it or not, I actually have my reasons as to why I think this way. Also, keep in mind that this is all just my opinion, so for this video, I would kindly ask you to lend an ear and suspend disbelief. And a quick disclaimer, I do not hate Steel Venom, I actually love Steel Venom. I think it's the best impulse in North America, and I would be devastated if it actually left. With that said though, there is a possibility of this roller coaster actually leaving. So here is the first reason. We literally just saw Wicked Twister get removed about a month ago. The Intimate Impulse coaster was kind of a short-lived fad back in the early 2000s, like some parks had them, some parks didn't of course, and they just kind of faded into obscurity. And yes, I know a new Impulse coaster has opened in China, but I'll talk about that later. So, as previously mentioned, Wicked Twister just got removed, and Possessed at Dorney Park is heavily rumored to get removed as well. As for the other Intimate Impulse coasters in the Six Flags chain, we have Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. And this roller coaster is known for having a lot of downtime. Like, I'm pretty sure it spends more time being down than it is actually operating. And Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Great America is getting a retheme, but is that going to make this coaster actually get a line? Like, I'm pretty sure this roller coaster is not super popular at this park. So let's focus on Cedar Fair for a minute and talk about Possessed and Steel Venom. Now, like I said, Possessed is heavily rumored to get removed at Dorney Park. Now, does this mean that Steel Venom is also going to get removed? Well, not necessarily, but I am seeing a pattern here. Wicked Twister was just removed, and Dorney Park, I think they're considering removing Possessed, so I think it's not too far out of the question to assume to a certain extent that Steel Venom might be on the same path. Going back to all the other Impulse coasters in North America, I'm going to give a prediction that in the next 5 to 7 years, we're going to see most of these roller coasters be scrapped. It's only a matter of time before Cedar Fair removes Possessed, and Six Flags possibly removes Flash Vertical Velocity. The other two, Vertical Velocity and Steel Venom, might still be around, but not for as long as you think. And why is that, you may ask? Well, that leads us to the second reason, and that is maintenance. Launch roller coasters are more complex than the traditional roller coaster. And with these old Intamin launch coasters especially, they are infamous for their maintenance problems. Now, impulse coasters aren't as bad as something like Top Thrill Dragster, for example, but compared to the average launch coaster, these old Intamins are just not that reliable. Steel Venom isn't that bad, but I have seen it break down a few times during my visits to Valleyfair. This past season, the iconic hold brake on Steel Venom's back spike was not operating for half the season. Why? Well, it was getting fixed because of maintenance issues. And all the other impulse coasters that had a hold brake don't use it anymore because they want to save some money on maintenance. There's also the fact that these old impulse coasters used an outdated launching system. These old Intamin impulse coasters use LIM launching systems compared to the newer launch coasters, which use LSM. For example, the new impulse coaster in China does not use LIM, it uses LSM. And because these LIM launching systems are outdated, it's going to get harder to find replacement parts as the years go on. So as a result, these impulse coasters may get to the point where they'll be too expensive to operate. I'm not saying that Steel Venom is extremely unreliable right now, but a few years down the road, it might turn into that. So let's say if Valleyfair was going to remove Steel Venom, when will they do that? Well, I think Valleyfair is going to keep this roller coaster around for at least its 20th anniversary. And by that point, they make a new roller coaster, so about 2 or 3 years after that, I can definitely see Steel Venom giving it its last launch. But remember, this is all just my theory, and there is a good possibility that I could be wrong about this, but there is also a good possibility that Steel Venom might get removed sooner than you think. So what are your thoughts? Well, down below, feel free to comment. And I know you probably should be doing your homework right now, but if you want to procrastinate some more, feel free to watch my other videos. It will also be very appreciated if you could like this video and subscribe. But with that, I'm North Star Coasters, take it easy, and I'll see you next time.